Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Kerry and I love all things makeup and beauty related. Today I'm going to be finally diving into some I Heart Revolution. It's been a while since I've bought anything from them and I'm excited to dive into this little fruity summer type of collection. So I Heart Revolution dropped this collection and they had a few palettes in the collection, a few face products, liquid highlighters, lip glosses, all sorts of bits, but the things that I picked up was the Lemon Spritz palette. Now I think they had 3 palettes, one was a cherry and one was like an orangey coloured one that I can't remember the name of. But I just went for this one because this one spoke to me the most colour story wise. These retail for £6 and it's a little smaller than I thought it was going to be. I did also pick up the Pineapple Ombre Highlighter, the Peach Blush Ombre and the Coconut Ombre Highlighter, but of course I would use this as a bronzer. But before we dive into all of these products, let me show you the close-ups and the swatches.
I know you don't mean to, but you're blocking my view. I know you got issues, but I got my shit too. I don't wanna be your therapy no more, no more. You don't wanna hear this, but it's you, it's not me. Ooh, gotta go and grab a spoon now. Ooh, make a life for myself. Ooh, I don't know what I'ma do now. Ooh, but I don't need your help. Get out of my way, my way. I'm moving on up. Don't make me stay, to stay. I'm done being stuck. Get out of my way, my way. I'm moving on up. The last thing I will ever do for you is wish you the best of luck. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la.
I don't want to talk about my hair right now. We're just going to pretend that everything is fine. So I stupidly already put a little bit of bronzer on because I forgot I had this palette. However, the bronzer I put on was matte. This is shimmery because it is actually supposed to be a highlighter for deeper skin tones, but I wanted to pick it up anyway just because I thought it'd be nice as sort of like a shimmery bronzer type of dealy bob. Now these are all scented and it does say on them I'm scented. They're not heavily scented. You have to get right in there and give it a good sniff to actually get the scent, but of course this one smells like coconut. It does have a little coconut indentation in the pan. I quite like that. I like the fact that it's ombre and we've got 3 different shades to pick from, or you can just swirl your brush around and get a bit of everything. So I think what I'm going to do is basically just swirl my brush around in here, get some of the pigment on there and just apply, when I can actually see my mirror, the bronzer. Like I say, I did stupidly put a bit of bronzer on already, but this will be quite sheer because it's supposed to be a highlighter anyway, and I feel like it'll just be a nice bronzer topper type of situation. Do you know? Do you know? So I don't really think it's going to be super standout anyway, but I did want to buy it and just include it. I think it'd be super nice for spring, summer, just to have a bit of a shimmery bronzer situation going on. Yeah, hardly that noticeable, like I say, especially because I've already got bronzer on, but it has made it a little bit more shimmery than it was before. Okay, the thing I'm most excited about is the Peach Ombre Blush. As soon as I saw this, I was like, right, that's it. Now I'm picking up things from the collection because this is the thing that made me want to spend my money, because I love an orange blush and this looks amazing because it is ombre, and of course, you know, you can stick to the lighter side, the deeper side depending on your skin tone, or just swirl your brush around and mix all 3. I think I'm going to stick toward the middle to the lighter side of this, and this one does have a peach indentation and smells like peach. Now let's just see how pigmented this is. I have tapped off my brush a little bit just in preparation because I was a little bit scared. Now this is a fully matte blush, but we have just used that shimmery bronzer, so if it does look a little shimmery, that is probably why. Oh yeah, be very careful with this blush is what I'd say, because it's very pigmented, but I don't mind that in a blush at all. Yeah, I did just stick to sort of the middle to the lighter side of the blush, and look at that shade. I am obviously going to blend it in a little bit better and use my sponge to blend the edges a little bit more, but I really do like that. I think there was a cherry blush as well, and like I say, there were some lip glosses in this collection, liquid highlighters. I didn't want to pick up everything, but I will link everything that I'm using in this video down below in case you're interested. But yeah, there was definitely other things in this collection. If you're not keen on an orange blush, you want something a little bit more pinky, sort of cherry coloured, there was the cherry blush, but of course it's me, so I had to go for the orange. I'm thinking that looks beautiful. It looks actually a lot more vibrant on camera than it does in real life. And then the pineapple highlighter, which does have 3 different shades, which I appreciate. So the more yellowy side, I love a yellow highlight. The pinky sort of champagne-y tone in the middle, and then more of a deeper pink to this edge. Do I have any clean highlighter brushes that I like to use? No, not really. I think what I'm going to do is stick to the middle and the yellowy side because I've used the orange blush. So that I'm just going to dip into the middle and the yellow side of it, and just see what this highlight is giving us. Oh, that is pretty. I do usually really like Makeup Revolution and I Heart Revolution highlighters. They do usually make them super well, and I can definitely see the yellow in that, and it is beautiful. Again, I will go over that with my sponge just to make sure it's not sitting on the skin, but I'm impressed with that. So that is how we're looking with those base products on, and I'm excited to try this palette. Now, I have already swatched this, and when I can open it, I think there could have been a deeper shade. You knew I was going to say it, right? There definitely could have been just one shade that was giving a little bit more depth in this, just because that's what I prefer in palettes, just so I can have that dimension on the eye. If you've got depth somewhere and then you can have midtones and lighter shades, it just gives so much more dimension to the look. But this is sort of like a zesty spring summer palette, so I'm not going to complain too much. I do like the fact that we've got blue in here and it's not solely just yellows and browns. This one is a little bit more orangey, which makes me very happy. There are some different shimmer formulas in this. There's some more satiny type shades, and then there's some really nice shades like this one here called Cheers. Is a bit of a different formula and it's a little bit more foily, and I wish this blue that's more satin had have been that formula because that would have been gorgeous. And I do really like this shade called Zesty because it's got a bit of a green, dirty sort of shift to it, and I really like that. However, this palette was giving me vibes from another palette, and the palette that was the Colourpop Limoncello palette, which I love. This is such a good palette from Colourpop, if you were wondering and you didn't want to pick up I Heart Revolution for any reason. And obviously you can see why it's giving me similar vibes. Let me hold them together. Now, of course, this one, you have much bigger pans. It depends whether you live in the US, whether it's easy to get hold of Colourpop for you or not, whether you want to spend £6 on an I Heart Revolution palette, whether you like that formula, but they are definitely giving me extremely similar vibes, although the Colourpop one does have depth. Now, I am just going to prime with my Natasha Denona eyeshadow base, and unfortunately, I still haven't cleaned all of my brushes, so I'm going to have to deep dive into the ones that I have left and see what we can do. So basically, I think I've got no choice in what shade I'm going to start with. I'm just going to try and start out with the deeper shade, which I think is Yum. Is this the deeper shade? I feel like it could be. Yeah, I definitely think I want to start out with that toward the outer corner area. And I did find a decent brush. You'll be happy to know. Yep, that's going on. Pigmented. It's not as deep as I would hope it to be, but it's showing fairly true to pan and it's applying nicely, and you can see on the edges already it's wanting to blend itself out, which I appreciate. I feel like that's very beginner friendly. If this is a good palette, I might pick up one of the others. It wasn't the cherry one I was looking at, it was the other one that's sort of an orangey pinky moment, because that one looked like it had a really nice colour story as well. And I'm just going to blend on the edges of this with no extra product, and I definitely think I want to dive into some of the blues today just because I want to make this look as dramatic as possible. So if I can include the blues and the yellows and really just have this colour story translated onto the eyes, then that is my goal complete for the day. Then I'm going to go into the shade Sour, which is the more orangey leaning browny sort of terracotta-y shade. And I'm going to pop that next to, oh yeah, that translates as a beautiful orange. on the eye, and I'm going to have it blending into that brown. This is just blending itself so effortlessly, which I really like, and there's no patchiness issues. It's applying nicely. Are they the best matte formula I've ever used? No. No, but I think for £6 and what you're getting, these two shades, like, there's nothing wrong with this. This looks really nice. Then I want to go into the yellow called Lemon Squeezy up here, and I'm going to pop that leading right to the inner corner, and let's see what pigment this yellow gives us. Okay, that is giving us yellow. I just want to have that leading as seamlessly as possible into that orange. But I'm finding this super easy to blend the shades together. These shades do complement each other on the colour wheel, colour theory wise. If I was using the blue and the orange next to each other, that wouldn't necessarily be the same. You're going to have to be a bit careful when incorporating the blue with the other shades in this palette, because it will turn into a muddy mess if you are not careful. Let's go back into a little bit of that orange just so we don't lose that vibrancy there. And then I think for the lower lash line, I am just going to pop a little bit of Yum on the lower lash line, which was the deep brown we started with, just to connect this outer corner. Then I'm going to go into the blue called Bright. So starting out with that Yum shade and just making sure that this connects. I just feel like it makes the look make a lot more sense when it's connecting to what's just above. Now it's going to be interesting to see how this blue performs because I haven't got a sticky base for it to sit on. I have powdered my under eyes, but we'll see. That is definitely vibrant enough. I feel like it's not giving me any issues. It's definitely blue. And of course, if you want it to be more vibrant, use a white base underneath, or even just a tackier base if you're using it for the lower lash line, but it won't have any issues more or less blending into the yellow because that will just make a green if they were blended together. And I'm just going to make sure I'm happy with the blend of everything all around the edges and between the different shades together before I go in with a shimmer or two on the lid. Okay, for shimmers, I'm thinking the ones that I like the look of is definitely Zesty, which was the more dirty sort of green, yellowy, grungy colour. I might keep this toward the outer corner. So I've just picked up Zesty, that shade, on a brush, and I'm just going to pop this leading into that brown. I couldn't not use this shade. As soon as I was swatching them, I was like, yeah, this is one of my favourite shimmers in the palette. And I am using a goat's hair brush to pick this up, so I do find it a little bit easier sometimes rather than using a synthetic brush with Revolution shimmers. I think then I'm going to flip my brush over and go into the shade Limoncello, which is just above it here. And this is more of a different formula than the previous shade, but I just want a nice ombre effect going between these yellows until we get brighter and brighter towards the inner corner. And I've just gone into a little bit of the shade Sliced on my brush, and then I think we're going to end up in the inner corner with this one, which is called Refreshing. So Sliced is just going to be popped next to the previous shade. This is more of a satiny formula, which I don't prefer, to be honest, but for £6, I don't think you've got a bad mix in here. Then into Refreshing for the inner corner, and I have sprayed this. Let's see what this gives us. Okay. It is brightening things up. It's just not as bright and light as I was hoping for, but then again I am popping it on top of matte shades also. Then I'm going to go into Bubbly finally, which is the blue shimmer. I say shimmer, it feels more of a satin, and I'm just going to pop that on top of the blue matte we have on the lower lash line. Is that giving me much? Not really. That's a bit of a disappointing blue, but if it had have been a different formula, like the formula for Cheers, which I haven't used today just because it's a brown, I think I would have been a lot more happy with that. Okay, I think that's more or less it for the eyeshadow. Let me finish this up, make sure my blending is how I want it to be, and then I'll come back and show you the finished look.
There is only one of you, only one of me. There's a million of those who won't let us be, but they're not gonna see me bleed, 'cause baby I got you.
I did just go in with some blue in my waterline just because I felt like that would tie in nicely. That's the Colourpop cream gel liner in Prance. Bit of an issue as to whether you can get hold of the Colourpop cream gel liners at the minute. They sell out a lot because they are so good. But yeah, I wanted a nice dramatic lash. These are from House of Boo. I do believe they were gifted to me. That will be linked down below. And for the lip, I did go in with this one from NYX. This is Milky Gloss. It's the mango one, and I did use my MUA lip liner in Heartfelt. So let's talk about the products that I tested in today's video. So the blush, I knew I was more or less gonna love it. It's not difficult to do a blush. It didn't look patchy, it blended in nicely. It was very pigmented though, so if you're gonna get one of these blushes, go in with a light hand. I'm tempted to pick up the cherry one now because I do really like this one. It's cute packaging, it does have a scent, and I like the fact it's an ombre, so I think it will definitely cater for more skin tones because you can stay to one side, the other side, or the middle. I kind of stuck to the middle to the lighter side for this today, but I really enjoyed this. Again, the pineapple highlighter smells lovely. I like the fact that you've got 3 different shades in this. I think it's a lot more versatile when it's like this and it's an ombre. I love the yellowy side. I do love a yellow highlighter, but of course if you don't and you don't like that on your skin, you can stick to the middle or the pinky tone side. But again, a nice product. And the other highlighter, which I used as a bronzer, this is a really nice bronzer topper. If you've used a matte bronzer and you want a little bit of something more shimmery for spring, summer, then this is nice just to pop on top of that. It smells beautifully of coconuts and it's kind of making me want a pina colada. The palette I was very impressed with. For £6, I really like the design of these. So it looks like a little soda can, and the fact that I picked up the lemon one, like, for people that don't know, lemon is my favourite scent ever. Does this actually smell of lemon? Does this say I'm scented? No, this just smells like cardboard. This doesn't actually smell like lemons. They missed a trick there, but I love anything lemon related. So this is why I picked this one up, and obviously it's got the gorgeous yellows in it, the blue and the orange. I'm not disappointed that I picked this up. I think for £6, what you are getting is really good actually, especially the shimmer Cheers. That's a bit better of a formula because it's a lot more foiled. Some of the other shimmers, you know, I mean, they are on the more traditional side, but the mattes did go on pigmented and blended beautifully. I would have liked to have seen just a little bit more depth in this palette, but I think for what you're getting, I mean, look at the look I was able to create with this palette for £6. Now, do I prefer this to the Colourpop one? No. If I had to just keep one in my collection, it would be the Colourpop one, hands down, but if you were thinking about this and wondering about the quality, I can say from the shades that I've used today, I actually really enjoyed it. Like I say, not as much depth as I would have hoped for, but I think the colours are pigmented, vibrant and beautiful. I am tempted to pick up another palette from this collection, and maybe the liquid highlighter because that's sort of a yellowy one. I was tempted with that. There's a few lip glosses, but I don't know if they come across just all as clear in the end. I might have a little revisit and look on the Revolution site and see what else I could pick up from this collection. And please do let me know down below if there's anything you would specifically like me to review from this collection that I don't already have. And please let me know what you think to this look, guys, and did you pick up anything from this collection? I'd be really interested to know. I will have all of my socials linked in the description box, as well as my YouTube membership and my makeup Patreon group where we have a nice little Telegram chat together and we chat in there daily, and it's just good fun. Thank you for the people that stuck around to the very end of the video. Hopefully you'll subscribe and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.